Adventures of Sonic, Episode 47, Magnificent Sonic. Like Sonic isn't overglorified in the show already. We start out in a Wild West setting where someone is sleeping on the job with a police badge, so naturally a criminal tries to shoot at him. Also, he has multiple arms and is an insect mobian, reminding me of SCC Online, so good. Six-Armed Pete says he's taking over the town. Would a criminal really enjoy the administrative duties and paperwork that running a town would require? Sonic and Tails show up on the town, not because they were called there for help, but by sheer ridiculous coincidence to relax. They arrive at the saloon for a root beer. Do saloons really offer near root beer? I don't know. Pete threatens Sonic with a gun, and Sonic says he doesn't need a gun, jumps on his shoulder, and he shoots himself in the head, but it turns out Pete was a robot all along, so it's fine, as he gets dragged away by his horse. How could Sonic have known that he was a robot? Even I didn't notice! And this village is doomed as Sonic is given the title Sheriff way too easily. He earned it, but he didn't prove that he knows how to be a sheriff. He's convinced into taking the job after a while, and I guess that would be a good way to give Sonic an excuse to stick around one village to protect it like Knothole. And when there was Knothole, Sonic still didn't always stick around it and still stopped Robotnik's plans because he left the Great Forest. So there should be no reason that this should hinder Sonic for the rest of the show, except for the fact that he's a sheriff in particular, which means he's in charge of hunting down the criminals within the village as well. This would mean he wouldn't have as much time to bother Robotnik, which is why this concept won't last past this episode. Anyways, Robotnik sends Scratch and Grounder after Sonic, and Sonic uses a ray gun to shoot cans. However, this causes collateral damage as well. Fortunately, it's lampshaded that they made a mistake because he can't hit the broadside of a barn, and he proceeds to actually miss even that. Sonic then shows off with his speed, and then accurately hits the cans when he just proved he was a bad shot. The dumb robots show up wearing appropriate Wild West gear, and Sonic says they can settle their differences at the poker table. This only makes sense because this is Scratch and Grounder, the stupidest robots who ever lived. Any other robots would have just not understood and just attacked, because that's all they're programmed to do. I guess Grounder's logic is that they're safer to challenge Sonic in a way that won't get them all damaged. Somehow, Sonic got 5 aces. I hope it's established he's cheating, because otherwise this is a blatant creator's pet moment by making him have insane luck. And it keeps happening. He proceeds to keep on winning over and over again, with Scratch and Grounder taking off parts of themselves like, gee, I wonder what this reminds me of. I'm not seeing any hints that Sonic cheated. I mean, this is a casino game, not a game with any skill. He either got insanely lucky or he cheated. And a compelling hero actually struggles and makes you root for him through thick and thin. He doesn't just have everything go his way. Scratch and Grounder then show up again at the saloon, I guess repaired off screen. And Scratch lures the girl in the saloon into a carriage to be kidnapped. There's no way she would have logically been fooled by Scratch's disguise, since even with his human mask, he still clearly had robot limbs like Scratch. He could have just picked her up. He didn't need to fool her. Sonic is told that she's kidnapped and runs after the stagecoach as it's heading for the cliff. It falls off the cliff, Sonic jumps into it, and Scratch presses a button to make the carriage locked, and the robots jump while forgetting their parachutes. Sonic straps the parachutes to the outside of the barred windows and saves the day, and spin dashes out of the roof. I like that the girl has a southern accent and blonde hair like Bunny. After Sonic briefly plays the guitar, Scratch, who just took a huge fall, isn't injured, and threatens them on a raft heading towards the dangerous rocks of the rapids. Sonic calls the girl a beautiful babe, being the Casanova I like him for. Sonic falls off the waterfall, and so do the robots, who Sonic fishes up, still somehow on top of the carriage perfectly fine. Yeah, that makes sense. Robotnik gets sent a telegram. You mean mail. Telegrams use an old-fashioned machine. And he throws the mailman out. If a regular old mailman can infiltrate Robotnik's fortress, why hasn't one of them come here with a bomb yet? Are the cops too scared to show up at his fortress? Scratch and Grounder are pathetic. Robotnik is given a ransom letter for Scratch and Grounder, who are in jail. After some nonsensical slapstick with Robotnik that he somehow survives unscathed, Robotnik threatens the town himself, dressed like a Wild West villain. Any other Robotnik would have the sense to send robots here, like a giant robot or a giant machine. Instead, he guaranteed his loss. Oh, he brought a few robots with him, programmed to shoot fast at Sonic. But that's nothing compared to giant robots with buzzsaws. Also, Robotnik says he just wants to take over the town, and doesn't care about Scratch and Grounder. Dismantle them then. Sonic sends a robot into the water, which blows him up. Again, Robotnik made Scratch and Grounder waterproof, but not this guy. Sonic causes a barn wall to fall over another robot because the robot shot at it, and Grounder grabs the rope from a nearby horse out of the window, ties the rope to the barn door of the cell. Why is nobody supervising these guys? The rope somehow breaks apart the walls and gets them dragged by the horse tied to the cell door. Did they have to escape from jail twice in a row, the 2 times they were put in jail? Finally, Robotnik says he'll shoot Sonic himself with a ray gun. I assumed he'd try to do this from the start, since this version of Robotnik is so pathetic that I was surprised he even had any robots. The tension is kind of high since Sonic's been established to be a bad shot, naturally since he's reckless. With all the paper-thin disguises of the show, shouldn't Sonic being dressed up differently make Robotnik think he's a different person? Sonic's girl sends him into the saloon briefly, I guess to give him the mirror. Sonic uses the mirror to reflect Robotnik's laser back at him to defeat him so quickly that at first I blinked and I missed it. Then the girl of all people is made the sheriff by Sonic, so he has an excuse to ditch the responsibility when she hasn't proven herself to be remotely capable, and everyone's happy about this. And the Sonic Says message is about never playing with a real gun, even if you think it's not loaded. Well, no duh. This episode was alright, I guess. It kind of went the predictable route with the idea of Sonic and the villains being in a Wild West setting. Sonic gets made the sheriff because he beat one robot. He plays poker against Scratch and Grounder. A girl fawns over Sonic and he happily lets her, and Robotnik threatens the town just for the occasion. I was impressed that there was no paper-thin disguise bullcrap this time. If only this was the case for the whole show. But again, with the rules established in the show, shouldn't Sonic and Robotnik wearing different clothes from usual have been enough to make them not recognize each other? They missed a golden opportunity for the show to make fun of itself. And that's why you should never listen to anyone who says the show is self-aware. If it was not taking itself seriously, then it would have parodied the most fundamental problem with itself. But my point with the disguises was that because they weren't there, the padding was kept in the actually entertaining variety. We didn't need to see Scratch kidnap the girl in the raft ride, and we didn't need Robotnik to have robots with him since he was too dumb to send giant laser shooting machines here anyways, so there was proper action going on, and not pointless slapstick or disguises. That's how it should be done. But the fact that Sonic lured Robotnik straight to this town only shows, one, how reckless Sonic is compared to the other Sonics, because if he did this to Knothole, it would have been screwed. And two, it shows how pathetically stupid Robotnik is in the show, because he would have nuked the town with Sonic and Tails in it at worst, and sent giant laser shooting machines at it, or even put a giant glass dome over it to trap everyone in the town forever at best. Sonic's first thought after capturing some of Eggman's robots was not to dismantle them, but to tell Robotnik to come to the town. Maybe it's better that he doesn't have a set knothole, because he doesn't give a shit about whether he puts a town in danger. Maybe when it comes to this more selfish version of Sonic, who's never called out on it like Fleetway Sonic, it's better for the world if he just keeps his fights to wide open spaces like canyons and fields, instead of getting innocent people in danger and not even apologizing. It fascinates me to see a Sonic so selfish, only caring about getting thrills and not caring about the consequences to other people. Even when it causes collateral damage to the town, he completely gets away with it and never apologizes. Are we supposed to see him as a role model or not?